Shalawam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakha Kwadash. Next, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered across the four corners of the earth. I'm your brother Kalak out of the Great Millstone Atlanta camp, coming to you again with another Lord willing, edifying video. And in this lesson, we will be going over how Esau is going to lose terribly, and is mainly going to surround Isaiah chapter 47. Isaiah 47:1 says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Now here, this is speaking of the virgin daughter of Babylon, which is the United States of America. Verse 2 says, "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." All right, so we do see America being exposed for all of the wickedness that has been portraying all of these years. For a period of time, the Lord has allowed the United States, to prosper, because we live in the Lord's movie, and the Lord has certain nations rise and certain nations fall. And now is the time for America to be exposed. And along with that is Esau Edom, which is the so-called white man, because he is who runs America, Babylon the Great. Now, not every so-called white person is an Edomite, okay? Your biblical nationality is according to the seed of your forefathers. So you do have some so-called white people out there that are actually Israelites through the seed of their forefathers. But for the most part, the so-called white man is Esau, okay? Now, to further expound on that, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders." So this is speaking of the wicked, which is Esau Edom. All right, Malachi 1:4 will tell you that Esau is the wicked. Job 9:24 tells you that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And 2 Esdras 6:9 tells you that Esau would be the end of the world. Now here in verse 9, it lets you know that this is a man, okay? The wicked is a man. Yes, there is the spiritual demon Satan, but you also have the physical counterpart of Satan, which is Esau, and he is being revealed in these latter days. Now also note here in Isaiah 47:3, it said, "I will not meet thee as a man." All right, this is the Lord Yahweh Shai. When he returns, he's going to be in that glorified body, and he's coming back to whoop ass. This is Isaiah 66:15. "For behold, the Lord Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." So this is when the Lord returns with his chariots, which we know are so-called UFOs. Okay, the Lord is coming back with chariots shooting laser beams to destroy the United States of America and other lands around the world, but especially the United States of America, which is Babylon the Great. And as it says here in verse 16, the slain of the Lord shall be many. Isaiah 47:4, "As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel." Because that is who the Lord is coming back to rescue, the Israelites, which today are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners that may look like the other heathen nations, but according to the seed of your forefathers, you trace back to Jacob. In this movie that we live in, the Lord essentially had it to where his people Israel would be in a state of near destruction. We would need to be saved, similar to when the Israelites were delivered out of Egypt. All right, America is the new Egypt. So the Lord is going to do what he did in Egypt, but on a bigger scale this time. Jeremiah 23 verses 7 and 8 tells you about that. Isaiah 47 and 5. Sit thou silent, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Because the Lord is exposing this place. It used to be known as, the flagship of nations, or especially the European nations, but really of all the world. America was seen as the pinnacle, and now the Lord has brought it down to the dust. All right, and there's more to come. America is going to be destroyed and will never be inhabited again. Verse 6, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And that's exactly what happened. The Lord gave his people Israel into the hands of Esau in Babylon the Great. All right, Deuteronomy 28:68 tells you about how the Israelites will go into slavery into Egypt again in ships. All right, that was the transatlantic slave trade. And these Edomites showed no mercy. All right, and so basically they got the okie doke. Turns out the people they enslaved and been oppressing all these years are the people of the Lord. Verse 7, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. All right, because these Edomites are proud. They don't think anything could ever touch them. This is the book of Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. All right, and that's the so-called white man's mascot. That's America's mascot. All right, he loves that eagle. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. So you Edomites are going down. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 8. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So, the Lord is he's gonna show you Edomites who is boss, who is really in charge. All right, and it's beautiful. This movie that we live in is beautiful because you can see right now that the Edomites are in the height of their pride. All right, they really think they run the show on this planet Earth, but you Edomites are about to find out. Isaiah 47 and 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. So the Lord is basically saying, all right, Esau, let's see if all of your sorcery and your witchcraft and your technology can deliver you from what's about to happen to you. Let's see if it works. Because Esau, it's been working this whole time and the Lord allowed it. All right, but now your time is up. So let's see if your enchantments are still going to work. And what can those enchantments be likened unto? The mainstream media. That's fading, okay? People don't believe the Edomite anymore. Nobody believes the so-called white man. Nobody takes his word seriously anymore because he's been found out to be a liar. And many other things. He's just losing. The Edomite is losing. Isaiah 47:13. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. All right. Isaiah 34:5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, that's Esau, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Now here in verse 5, this is speaking of when thermonuclear missiles are shot into America, okay? The Lord's sword is going to be bathed in heaven, and there are many different scriptures that goes into the thermonuclear destruction and how the heavens will be rolled up as a scroll, okay? But that's what's going to happen to America. All of its allies, and of course, Russia and China, they're gonna send nukes into America, okay? And America's gonna be turned into the lake of fire. Finishing off in Isaiah 47:15. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. All right, because Esau's allies are going to turn on him, all right, and the normal enemies that he has. So basically what this is saying is nobody is coming to rescue Esau. Okay, Esau has been made bare, and now he's going to receive his due judgment. So call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Quadash. Once again, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalawam.